Hello BookTube, it's Leah Cooper here, and today I'm bringing you the Would You Rather book tag. I was not tagged in this tag, but I kind of wanted to do like a Tag Tuesday video, and I saw this tag and I saw the questions and I thought it sounded kind of fun, so I figured I'd just go ahead and do it. I will leave a link to the original video down below if you're interested in checking it out, as well as the questions. So let's just jump right in. Question number 1. Would you rather read trilogies or standalones? Generally, I would rather read standalones. For me, I feel like a lot of times trilogies, they have this overarching plot, and so they don't really feel like complete books until you've read the whole trilogy. And so it's like, I know you couldn't just put it all in one book because that would be, who knows, 1,500 pages. But at the same time, they don't really feel like individual books to me, but they still take a year each to come out. And I just hate that. I'm kind of torn. I like to read trilogies when they're done well, but I think a lot of times they're just kind of lackluster the way they're constructed, which is why we have so many discussions about like second book slump or, bad endings, stuff like that, because I think authors struggle to write really good trilogies. So I'm gonna go with standalones or duologies. I do genuinely like duologies. I think, a good example of this is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. They're two very distinct books, and they aren't hampered too badly by like a huge overarching plot that's really fucking with the structure of the individual books. But they totally go together. Like, you wouldn't read Crooked Kingdom without reading Six of Crows. Like, they do go together. So, yeah, I think I would rather have duologies, actually, or standalones. And I'm not a big fan of series, just because I forget things. I read a lot of books. I do forget things. When you have long periods of time in between books coming out, I forget too much, and then I need to like go back and reread like everything up until that point, and that's just not going to happen. So yeah. Question number 2. Would you rather only read female or male authors? This is an easy one. Female authors. I read mostly female authors. It's like a 65% female, 35% male. I'd have to actually check my spreadsheet. When I'm looking for new authors, I pretty much only read new female authors. There are a few exceptions I will make when I'm picking up male authors. Maybe it's a book that I've like really wanted to read for a really long time. I already read them. For example, like Terry Pratchett, Philip Pullman, or maybe if it comes really, really highly recommended from someone whose reading tastes I have a similar reading taste to. But for the most part, I do not pick up new authors who are male. Sorry, not sorry. I find male authors are not great a lot of the time at writing female characters. I would even use the word, they write insufferable female characters, like just god fucking awful. This is not every male author, obviously, but it's a lot of them. And I just don't have time for shitty female characterizations. And that's the other thing. I prefer to read books with female characters, female protagonists. I don't think I need to say more. You get what I'm saying. Question number 3. Would you rather shop at Barnes & Nobles or Amazon? When it comes to physical books, neither. I buy physical books used, to be honest. And if I'm going to buy a physical book new, I'm going to buy it from an indie bookseller. The author gets the highest royalty if I buy it from an indie bookseller who's, who's getting their inventory directly from the publisher. And if I'm going to spend $20 or $30 on a goddamn book, which is insane, but the cost of books, new books, then I want most of that money to go to the author. End of story. So the only time I would really like buy from a bigger chain or something like that, it's gonna be Amazon, because it's probably because I'm buying an ebook. I do occasionally buy ebooks when they're like on sale, because that's like a whole other issue when like people are trying to sell ebooks for $16 and you're like, are you insane? But anyways, I do occasionally buy ebooks, especially when an author I really like is doing a sale or promoting a new series or something like that. And I'm going to buy them off Amazon, and I always have, because Barnes & Nobles cannot get their shit together with the Nook. And that really sucks, but it is what it is. Question number 4, would you rather all books become movies or all books become television shows? I think a lot of people are going to say television shows because you can like get more in depth into a show or whatever. But here's the thing. So I don't really like reading book series. Now, a book series obviously is going to do better in a show format than in a film because, you know, if you have 9 books, how the hell do you write like a 120-minute film that covers 9 books? Like you can't do that. The thing is, I don't really like series. I don't really read series. So I can't even think of a series that I like that I would ever want to see in a television format. So I like standalones. So if it's going to be a standalone, I'd rather just have a movie. I think maybe you could do a television series that's inspired by a standalone book where they just kind of like, they take a couple of the characters and the situation, maybe and some elements, and then spin off from there. But that's not really, that's like such a loose adaptation at that point. You know, that's kind of like, does it even still count? I don't know. If you're trying to do a more accurate adaptation, I think I would rather just see like a standalone book to a movie. And I mean, that is not to say that I don't like adaptations. I have seen quite a few adaptations that are genuinely more interesting than their books. But they're usually movies. Because like I'm thinking of my favorite adaptations. They're all movies. You know, it's like Atonement, which I have not read the book for. The book could be great. I don't know. It's on my, TBR. Or I love that movie. I think it's a great movie. The Shipping News is another phenomenal movie. Again, the book's on my TBR. Would I want to see either of those things as television shows? No. Do I want to watch a mini-series of Sense and Sensibility? No. The movie is great. The movie is all you need. I'd rather just have a movie. Question number 5. Would you rather read 5 pages a day or 5 books a week? Neither. Both of those situations sounds horrible. Because 5 books a week is too much. I just don't read that fast. Like, I'm a slow reader. Genuinely, I just don't read that fast. So I would have to do nothing but read 10 hours a day to do that. But then 5 pages a day, you'd never get anything read. And there's nothing more kind of disheartening than not finishing books, just like languishing on the same thing for weeks on end, which is what would happen. So neither. No thank you. I like to read 50 pages a day. How about that? Question number 6. Would you rather be a professional reviewer or an author? Well, technically, I already write for a living. Now, would I rather be a, well-known author versus a well-known reviewer? I feel like if you were, equally famous in both jobs, being a professional reviewer would be easier. Sorry, not sorry, but it is. Yes, you do need a lot of, you have to be smart, you have to be critical, you have to do your research. Obviously you have to take time to review books and stuff. But at the end of the day, all you have to do is read the book. And reading a book is so much less difficult than writing a book. And writing a review, even a really critical, in-depth, analytical review, is not as difficult as writing a book. So being a professional, famous reviewer would be a lot easier. But I think I would still rather be a professional, famous author just because I have so many ideas. And as much as sometimes I hate writing, I also do sometimes really love writing. And I do really love finishing books, like writing a complete book and having it done and being this thing that I created that took time and has heft and weight to it. That's really satisfying. So I would still rather be an author. Question 7. Would you rather only read your top 20 favorite books over and over, or always read new ones that you haven't read before? When it comes to books, to be honest, I'd probably just rather read new books all the time that I've never read before. Question 8. Would you rather be a librarian or a bookseller? Probably a librarian because I hate retail. It gives me anxiety. But I wouldn't really necessarily want to be either, just because I don't like working with the public. I especially don't like selling things to people. Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. So, probably a librarian. Question number 9. Would you rather only read your favorite genre or read every genre except your favorite? My favorite genre, obviously. And then question number 10. Would you rather read physical books or ebooks? I spend a lot of time on my laptop, and it's just way more convenient to read on my Kindle app on my laptop. I have gotten better this year about reading physical books because I'm borrowing things from the library, but still, if I only had the option of like borrowing books from Overdrive or borrowing physical books from my library, I'd be fine just borrowing things from Overdrive and reading completely digital. This is kind of an old tag, so I'm not going to tag anyone, but if you're watching this and this sounds like fun questions and you want to do it, consider yourself tagged. Let me know down below if you do it, and I'll go watch your video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video.